I hope you can hear me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching me from. My name is Timisan Ojabo, and I am the founder of Isaac Works Job Board. And today we will be having our second class from yesterday. And the topic for today's class is understanding market intelligence. Market intelligence. As you apply for your job, market mastery, reading the opportunity landscape. My goal today is to ensure that you are a master of the industry that you're applying to. My goal is to see that everything you are applying for, you are doing it with intentionality. So please give me a second. I'm trying to, okay. I just want to ensure that the audio is working well. We've been having a bit of issues. And I just want to be sure that all the audio is working. Okay. All right. Great. So the audio seems to be perfect. And so I guess we can kick off our class. So thank you again for joining. So today's class is Market Mastery, Reading the Opportunity Landscape. The idea is I want you to master the art of market intelligence and then discover the hidden job opportunities before they are posted, because that means you're going ahead of the market, right? And another thing why we need this is that I want you to learn how to identify emerging industries within your sector. I want you to be able to research companies strategically, and I want you to be able to position yourself in high growth sectors. Now, the per they're perfect. What I'll be discussing will be perfect for the Nigerian professional or the African professional that's targeting local, regional, and international markets that are paying either in the currency of your nation or naira, dollar, or pounds or euro, whichever one you prefer. So today is day two of Career Catalyst Week. Yesterday, we figured out your worth. I hope you did your assignment and you have turned them in. Today, we are going to figure out what, where our worth can command the highest premium. That's the plan for today. We want to also there's going to be questions. I would answer a bit of questions for those that are going to stream live, but again, for those that are not live, it's absolutely fine. You can always drop your questions in the chat box, and I would definitely come back and write a response. For those in the Isaac Works community, please do the assignment and turn it in with the admins. So let's go. What separates a successful professional from everyone else? I want you to ask yourself that question. Where will your industry be in the next 3 years? And are you positioned to benefit from that shift? Most people, they job hunt like they're shopping, right? We're looking for what's available out there. You know, we're smart professionals and all of the things. Well, my plan for us today is you don't apply for job just as a professional, but you job hunt like an investor, looking at what is going to be valuable tomorrow. Because whether we like it or not, the market is changing, and you want to be a professional that's valuable today in the next 8, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. So I'm here to give us what it takes to be able to do all of that. Okay? So track with me. I hope you have your journals, your writing material, you're paying attention. All right, great. So let's kick off. The best career opportunities, right, aren't found. Contrary to popular belief, they are forecasted. That is, while everyone else is competing for today's posted jobs, right? Market savvy professionals are positioning themselves for tomorrow's created roles. That is, we are preparing for the roles that will be available in the future. And the future is today, remember. So don't make it look like, oh, as I said, the future. Don't think that the future is something, it's today. Yesterday's future is today. Tomorrow's future is tomorrow, right? The future is today. So when you prepare, right, you will be ready to take hold of these opportunities. So the first thing we're going to be discussing is the three market layers. I want you to understand that the jobs you see posted on all the place you see them, there are different layers to job ads. And it's important that we understand those layers. So think of the job market like an iceberg. What's an iceberg? Is this huge body of ice that's in the middle of the ocean, right? You know, when you are on land, let's just give a wild example, right? Let's say you're on land and you can see an iceberg. You can only see the top, you can't see the bottom, right? You can't see beneath the surface, right? So all you see is just the top. Think of that top, right, as the tip. And that tip are the job boards that are scattered across the nations, right? All over the world, there are job boards everywhere. In Nigeria, there are job boards everywhere. Everybody, literally, everybody has a job board, literally. That is just the visible market. That's layer one, is the visible market, and it holds just 20% of all the jobs that are out there. These job boards can also be LinkedIn, Indeed, all the different Jobberman, all the different popular job boards that you are aware of. That is just the visible market. That's 20% of the entire thing. Then we have company career pages. That is, you go to a company website, you go to their careers, on the website, you see a portion that allows you to check, and then you can find careers. So that career page, right, is another place where you can find. And remember, that is also 20%. Then recruitment agencies, right? People that are constantly recruiting to fill up roles. This is where most people spend all their time and their energy. And it's overly saturated. It is the most competitive, and it has the is the lower is oftentimes the lowest paying segment in this job hunting game. Now let's move to the second layer. That is the hidden market. So you remember the iceberg, right? So the top, we've spoken about it. Now the hidden market is the under part that is under the iceberg, the part that's underwater. If you read Blue Ocean Strategy, you know what I'm talking about. So that part that is under the water, right? That part is the 60%. It is for roles that have not been created. Sorry, roles being created but not yet posted, right? So we find that sometimes emerging departments, due to technological advancements, due to new product discovery, new markets that the organization is trying to go into, right? So sometimes we find that in those markets, yeah, there there's the need to start to create jobs descriptions for those roles. So those jobs they're not yet here, but there's a plan to create them. So they are being created, but they've not been posted. But there's a plan. Now, another hidden market is that's part of that 60% we spoke about. That's layer two, is the internal referral and recommendation. So this is more popular with bigger organizations where they are trying to recruit for a role. So what they do is that they ask the members of their organization if they have family members or people that they believe have the capacity to do this job. So the job description is only within the organization. It's never publicized. They only post it within the organization. And sometimes the people that bring the referrals are paid. Sometimes it's paid, sometimes it's not. They give stipends and all the kinds of things, depending on the organization. So there, the job post will not come to the job board. It's only those that are within the system that have access to those job roles. So if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody in those organizations, they can refer you. Another thing is recommendations. That also happens where they tell you, do you know anybody? Still same similar. Then there's the network-based opportunity in the hidden market where because you belong to a certain association when opportunities come, you are the first to know. So um, it's based on the the guard of being in an association. If you are not in that association, you will not know that those things exist. The final one is the consulting to permanent transition. So here, consultants are in the process of supporting to ensure that these clients find the people that they need, right? So consultants are a huge part of this. They play a huge part in this recruitment process. Then the layer three is the created market. Now, this is an interesting segment because this is an interesting layer because these roles, they don't exist until you propose them. So this would come up where the job hunter, that is, if you're looking for a job, you have gone to do a bit of research, you've done a bit of groundwork, you've read, you've understudied, you've done all the things, you are ready, you've been forecasting and just thinking about this organization. And now you have now decided that, okay, look, I think that I can do this. And then you propose it to the organization and see what they think. Okay. Now, the next phase is consulting and freelance opportunities. So, consultants are, creating roles, going to propose it to these organizations as well. Then there's the partnership based organizations where a company is strong with product development, another company is stronger with manufacturing, right? So they find that, okay, it's best we come together to create a market. So as a result, they now desire to recruit more people. Next will be the industry disruption opportunities. For example, we can see what AI has done to the industry. That is a perfect example of an industry disruption opportunity. So with those kinds of businesses, you find that a lot of jobs are now available. Now, how do we practically apply this visible market, hidden market, and created market? How do we apply it at the different stages of our career? For fresh graduates, right? Layer one would be graduate programs and entry level. So for fresh graduates, the jobs you'll be looking out for will be graduate, that's you're fresh out of school, university, first degree, or your master's degree, depending on your industry and what is given in your industry. Again, we'll get to understanding your industry and all of those things, but it's important. That's you see why it's important when you're listening to these webinars that you have your pen and paper and your journal. The reason is when I'm saying things like this, you can just mind map that first layer I spoke about. So fresh graduates, mind map it. Just write out graduate programs, right? Things you're supposed to be looking out for: graduate programs, entry level roles, admin roles, those kinds of things. Things that get your foot in the door, right? Internship opportunities will now be your second layer. That is the hidden market. Would now be you saying, "I see your organization has this problem. Can I come and intern and solve it for you?" Because what happens is that in that layer two for fresh graduates, once you come in, right, and you're bringing value, your internship can then move to higher programs. That is, they can now consider say, okay, this person did this role and owned it. Can we move them to, a can we hire them? Right. And if they can't hire you, they can put you in their pool of alumni to say, okay, you will be here while we continue to, do what we do. And as we expand, and if the need comes, we can reach out to you and then you can, do what you need to do and show up and be a part of their workforce. So don't look down on internship opportunities, graduate programs, entry level roles. And then the final layer, which is for the created market, the fresh graduates can propose junior roles and startups, offering to solve specific problems. This is what I'm saying. This is how you bring value. So when you say you don't have a job, have you really sat down to look through startups, problem solve, critically think about what they do, what they are offering? How can have you seen a gap? How can you come in and fill that gap and then propose that solution to them and say that you can come in and do that job? That is another way for you to get what you need. That's a job. So for the mid career, that is, we're just talking about fresh graduates. So for mid career, you're between your 4 to 8 years on a roll, 4 to 10 years, depending on your industry, right? Because some people, you have to have what a certain amount of years to be called what's it called, to be tagged as um a mid career professional. So here, layer one will be, you'll be checking for roles that are in your level. So here you'll be C-suite. Well, I won't say C-suite. You're just like in the managerial level. You are doing supervisory work. Your team is about 2 to 3, depending on the organogram and the structure of your organization, right? So here you are checking, the roles that are posted at your level. You're not going beneath your level. You have relationships with headhunters that are recruiters, right? You have friends and network, the way you communicate, you let them know the skills you've acquired, so that if there's an opportunity, you can easily apply. And then you're also a consultant at this stage. Like, you're consulting, you're attending consulting engagements, you're doing cross industry move. You're not just staying in one industry. You are building your technique, your know-how across different industries, so that you are sort of building yourself towards the senior level, that is the third leadership level, right? And then for senior level, we are talking executive search firms. You are like the go-to. You are already becoming a thought leader. People know you when they say advisory and strategy, your name comes first. When they say financial planning and monitoring, your name comes forward. You say specialty, all the consulting, you're like at the top level. Then the layer two for senior levels will now be board connections. You have connections with boards, organizational leaders, industry experts. You have solid reputation. That, in short, when the opportunities like this come for people in this range, they don't necessarily do job ads. They just go say, hey, we need this person, can we talk to them and see if they can come and join us, right? And then for senior level, the layer three, which is the how can senior level create work towards the targeted market, towards the created markets. That is, they have to engage in what's called industry disruption opportunities. How can they do that? By advisory, right? You already see companies tilting towards the wrong direction. Book a call, find a way to speak to them, and then give advice that that when they apply, when the revenue start coming or when the problem is solved, they will reach out to you, and your bank account is gonna be smiling. And here also the senior level guys would be looking at transforming opportunities, transforming industries, and all the things. Now we're now moving to the next stage of this, knowing your worth in your career. One of the ways to do this is having the market, understanding the market intelligence system. You see, many people do not understand the market with which they operate. What did I mean? You're a doctor. What are the trends in the medical field? That is understanding your market. You are an analyst. What is the trend for startups? Depending on the whether you're a financial analyst or a business analyst, in finance, if you're a financial analyst, what are the trends? What are the new developments? What is the news going on within the financial sector? It should be something you are familiar with. What are the reports that you have read, right? Understanding market intelligence system help you make better decisions, right? So what we're talking about now is step one, macro trend analysis. You need to understand the forces shaping your industry. I don't know is an ignorant statement. You can't make that statement. You cannot say that you don't know. What trends are influencing your industry? What reports, what studies, what economic, social, technological, and political decisions are impacting your environment. Because we cannot be in jobs and we don't understand the political climate of our environment. You need to know so that you know how to plan. You cannot say you don't understand the technological advancement. For example, people are manufacturing robots that will replace people in warehouses, and you are okay being just a warehouse attendant. You have to plan. Can you now go and upskill and learn about how to manage the robots that work in those places? That is how you adopt critical thinking into understanding macro trend analysis. And for macro trend analysis, it's important for us to know that there are different drivers. There's the Nigerian market, again, in whatever, from wherever you're watching me, right? You can be in Kenya. There's the Kenyan market driver. There's the Togo market driver. There's the Senegal market driver. Just as we have the Nigerian market drivers. And then there's the global market driver. For the Nigerian market drivers, there are things that you know that you want. You know that this is the part, this is this is something you want. How can you prepare? That's what we're talking about. What are the forces shaping your industry? For example, in Nigeria, we have the digital transformation acceleration. We can see that there's a lot of digital transformation happening and adoption, though not as fast, but we cannot say that adoption of technology is not happening in Nigeria. It is happening. People are gradually adopting technology into their different programs, into their different business, into the different things that they do. Right? People are thinking of ways to intensify and speed up deliveries. People are looking for how to purchase and procure their products faster. You know, when in an economy where everything is fast, 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 people are looking at how can they enhance customer experience. How do you now go and influence that drive for the Nigerian market? How can you say, I'm an admin officer, I'm a receptionist, I'm a cleaner? How can you take that skill to create change in a business? That's how you should think. Don't just think, I want to apply for a job as an assistant, as a cleaner, and then you just go and apply. There is no kind of forward thinking in your mind. Your own is, I just want to apply for a cleaning job and keep it moving. They pay you your salary, and that's it. Every day, if they fire you, you look for the next one. You are not thinking about how even being a cleaner can influence and enhance customer experience when people walk into the organization. That is how we influence the culture of work. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So it's not just saying, okay, now she has taught us, we've learnt it. She said digital transformation and solution, it does not affect me. I'm a carpenter. Who says it doesn't affect you? It does. Oh, and I'm an engineer, digital transformation acceleration. It does not affect me. Nobody knows. I'm just in the back office. Back office does influence everything. What are you doing on social media that can impact and influence your organization? That is another way that you're servicing your sector. So, market drivers, let's go back to what we're talking about. Market drivers, infrastructural development, roads, power, telecommunication, electricity, all of these things, they drive our market. If the roads are bad, if the roads are flooded, economic activities cannot happen because people will be at home. They will not want to go to that region. That's why you notice that areas that are prone to these kinds of things, the government tries to mitigate those issues, solve those problems so that people can have access and then economic activities can continue, right? Another Nigerian market driver is financial inclusion and tech and fintech growth. We can see how every day, the fintech industry, those guys are doing the most, because we're a young tech savvy population in Nigeria. Mobile penetration is increasing. Government is leading different kind of financial policies, tax policies. So the primary growth now for Nigeria is fintech. So how can you use your skill? For example, if you want to think critically about your growth and your future and your career, how can you adopt your skill, your hard skills? Remember yesterday's video, what we learned about our hard and soft skills. How can you use that to bring value to a market driver such as financial inclusion and fintech growth? We have a massive unbanked population. How are you thinking? How are you thinking to solve that problem? Government are bringing policies every day. The policies are flying around all different kinds of channels. What is the way that you can bring that policy to your organization, break it down in a way that they will see you as someone who's problem solving, who's helping to grow the organization? That is how you understand to understand the Nigerian market drivers, agriculture and food security. The money that's in agriculture and food security, people are still sleeping on it. Everybody, before, I don't want to say now, But before everybody wanted to work in an oil and gas organization. Do you guys remember that time when if you're not working in the big oil and gas companies, it's almost like you are not a part of any part of the world, or Lagos, or Nigeria, or Abuja. It's the oil guys that were doing it big. But right now, we can see that the agricultural sector in Nigeria is a huge market driver. What value can you bring? Don't just be saying that I want to apply to oil and gas banking. Have you considered agricultural and food security sector? They are playing a crucial role. There's a lot of exports and imports that are going on in Nigeria now. That ban on share, that means there's a lot of manufacturing that's going to be happening within Nigeria. How are you positioning yourself to apply in those sectors? Or are you just saying, it does not concern me? It does not concern me. I'm just going to stay where I'm comfortable. I'm not going to push myself. You know, please, as we're listening to what I'm saying, it's important that we are thinking, right? Please, let's think. We're now looking at transition, renewable energy transition. We can see the influx of what's it called now? Solar and wind power generation is happening so fast. Wind, hydropower. Well, I've not heard a lot about hydropower where I am, besides the one we have, right? But solar has is gaining penetration. Wind is also gaining some traction with it, at least in Nigeria, right? These systems are here. Can you apply all? You must not just work for SMEs that are selling a certain product. Can you diversify? Open your mind. The next will be the healthcare modernization. We can see that in Nigeria, healthcare is changing, telemedicine, all the things that are coming into Nigeria, that is also opening. There's so many important things. There's the health and fitness, there's the wellness now, there's the digital transformation, all the things that are just coming within this healthcare modernization. Everything is going digital right now. What value can you bring and propose to to an organization that's in that sector for you to land a job? So you see that what I'm teaching now is not just saying do fix your CV, go and look for a job, apply and just spray your CV everywhere. And then when you spray it for a couple of weeks, if it doesn't work, keep praying and don't do that. We're seeing how artificial intelligence is being mixed now with healthcare modernization. Do you even understand AI? What course have you taken on AI? In AI, what do you understand about AI? Now let's move to the global market drivers, because again, we're talking about global market drivers because a lot of people will say, we want how do you guys say? They say things like, oh, we want remote jobs. Someone told me, she messaged me, say, I asked her what's your area of specialization? She told me. I said, so what area are you looking at getting a job? She said she wants a remote job. She said 5K, $5,000. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Enjoying life. So she wanted that job. She wanted 5K dollars, but she does not have the skill. She does not have the skill to match the 5K dollars that she says she wants. She does not have the skill to match the 5K dollars that she wants, because the global market drivers have um, indicators. They have factors that need to be considered. So it's not just saying that I want to work in these sectors. Do you have the skills? Or are you just building castles in the air? For example, AI and automation. What do you know about AI? What do you know about automation? What do you know about systems thinking? What do you know about process thinking? What do you understand by structure? What do you understand by inclusivity? Right? What do you understand by do you understand adaptation, decision making? Can you make spontaneous decisions in a highly complex environment? Are you disciplined enough to reduce errors and boost efficiency in your daily tasks and routines, right? Because when you work remotely internationally, you find that, you know, task are usually automated. So there's the part where you can't just say I was drafting this from morning till night. It's not a justification for the money that you are being paid. There has to be a lot of critical thinking. There has to be a lot of ways that you are applying what you are learned. There's a way you are using AI to perform tasks that require intelligence. You understand context, right? You know how to identify patterns, make decisions. Every day you come on a call, you are coming with numbers, you're coming with insights. You're not just sitting on that desk. So what was your plan? What did you do last week? You just say, oh, I wrote, I sent 4 emails. And everybody's just looking at you like, is that why you're here? That's not what we're doing. Right? Anyway, let's keep going. Remote work normalization. When you work in these companies, right, it's mostly remote work, right? Because of course they don't have an office here. Do you understand what it takes to work remote? Do you know how to be productive while maintaining somewhat work-life balance? Even though they said it's a myth, work-life balance is not real. You know, every different schools of thought. So I'm not here to say that. Do you understand work cultures? Do you know how to adapt? Can you learn quickly? Can you accept feedback? Or do you think that feedback is a punch to your personality? I did a video. Go and check the Isaac Work. See, if you check the Isaac Work series, you'll see a video that we did on that. You know, how technologically savvy are you to be able to? How many tools do you understand and can navigate with speed and with precision? Because the remote, well, is the new normal. Do you understand ESG compliance? What is ESG compliance? Environmental, social, and governance compliance. That is, how's your company adhering to these standards? These are things that you can prefer to your organization and be valuable, or to a prospective organization and be valuable, and they would see you as someone that's worthy of being within their system, not just coming to say, hey, I need a job, and that's all you bring, just your hard skills. Hard skills are no longer enough. Do you understand the environmental component and how your company impacts that? Do you understand waste management, emission reduction? Do you know how to evaluate those things? Can you calculate those things? Do you understand labor practices, diversity, human rights? Do you understand those things? The ethics of your job. Do you understand it? ESG compliance is very, very important with the international market. So if you know that that's something remote work is something you're interested in, and when I say remote work, I mean work that pays you in foreign currency, it's very important that you understand the requirements, understand the stakeholder expectations, that is the customers, employees, how all of those business, how they operate in their ecosystem. You have to understand the benefits of an ESG compliant organization, is reputational benefits, and know how to pitch it to your organization. Cybersecurity concerns, till today, we still have those cyber attacks. Why? Because people within an organization still don't understand the ethics um, of cybersecurity. We're still clicking on phishing links. We're still scrolling on websites that we should not be scrolling at work. Do we understand malware, ransomware, phishing links, social engineering, data breaches? Do we understand the distributed denial of service? What is that? Attacks that overwhelm the server, the service, or the network, and then with a flood of internet traffic, just making it unavailable to legitimate users. Do you know what that is? did you speak to your organization to say these are things that we can mitigate against, or all you want to do is what is in your JD? Anything outside your JD, you say you did not pay me for it. And that's the response we continue to give. Why? Because we like to do all we want, all we choose. I think I should say the word we choose. We choose to bring mediocrity to the workplace that we're in. Supply chain resilience. How do you understand supply chain resilience? The ability to for your supply chain to withstand, adapt, and recover quickly from any disruption that may occur. Global disasters, market shifts, war. Because yes, war is affecting our supply chain. Yes. Do you understand these things? You are working for a shop. And I don't want to start talking big rules because people think that, oh, all these things are not important for we that are, as I'm a chef, I'm a cook, I'm a housekeeper, I'm just a driver, I'm just a technician, I'm just a builder, I'm just a small entrepreneur. They matter, especially if you're a job hunter, you are looking for a job. It's important that you know these things because this is how you bring value to your organization. And your boss will look at you and say, this was a good hire. Not that they look at you and say, Kai, we regret the day we hired this person because you've not brought anything beneficial to them. Global disasters. There's a typhoon that people are thinking is going to come from, it's going to happen now somewhere in Mexico. If your organization is importing something from Mexico, do you know how that typhoon is going to affect that thing? And you have clients that have paid. Do you see? And your clients are in Nigeria. You've already given them lead time that is going to be 4 weeks. Now you're hearing there's typhoon. If typhoon happens or earthquake, whatever happens in that nation, right? If it affects shipping, it will delay on the ETA of your product. Do you see what I'm saying? As a cleaner, what do you even understand about what they are doing? Or you just use your phone. You think that your phone that you have that is enabled with data, all you just want to use to do scroll from morning to night. You don't want to add any value. You cannot say, I saw this thing on the news. Let me read. Madam, have you, Oga, please, oh, in my office, sorry, I was reading this thing. Have you seen this news? I know that we ship something from Tokyo. Did you see this thing? Is it going to affect us? That is how you think and bring value within your organization because what these are global market drivers. As much as it's not a main Nigerian driver, which I think it is, that's why I had to, slow down here and just say a couple of things. Climate adaptation, because again, there's so much to talk about, and I don't want this webinar, this session to go too long. Climate adaptation refers to actions that are taken by individuals, community, or government to prepare and adjust to the unavoidable impacts of climate change. If you live in Lagos, you will understand this thing I'm talking about. We are seeing that the flooding is increasing. The way the flood was last year was different from the way the flood is this year. If you live in the northern part of Nigeria, case in point, Abuja, up north, you hear the excruciating heat. Do you know that this climate adaptation, all of these things affect the way we work? If you are living in the northern part of the Nigeria or any part of Nigeria and the heat is extreme and you're working remotely, do you know that it can affect your remote work? Something that your partners in the people you're working with that are in England might never understand. But you need to understand this so that you can communicate eloquently to your colleagues and to your team so that they can hold space, they can be empathetic towards you, they can understand and cut you slack in some areas. But no, we just want the remote job. I want the remote job. I want to earn 20 billion. I want 50, this, that. We are not ready. Anyway, let's keep going. Don't just follow trends, my people. That's not why we're here. I don't want us to live here as trend followers. Predict trends. Create a first trend, second trend. Predict the effect of all of these things I've spoken about. Document it. If AI is automating data entry for all my data analysts out there that are still stuck in Excel and have not migrated because you feel you are in Nigeria or you are in Africa All those tech has not yet come, so you don't want to upskill. What new roles will your company bring forth in the next 5, 6 years that you will need to understand to manage AI systems? That is where the opportunity is. What new roles will companies need to manage AI systems? That is where the opportunity needs. Think, think, think. Industry position mapping. Here, I want us to understand our industry, the growth stage of your industry, the payment premium of your industry, the entry barriers of your industry, and is your industry remote friendly so that you are not building castles in the air. Me and you know that a medical doctor can barely do remote medicine, cannot practice remotely. Why? Sometimes you may need to see the patient face to face, touch, feel them to confirm the symptoms that they are saying. So to now say you're a medical, except you are retiring from full-time practice. So do you see what I mean by understanding the industry positioning map? You can't say you are a chef and you are looking for remote work. How can you be a remote work chef? Or you're a bricklayer, you are a you are a you're an engineer, you are a fashion designer, and you want to do it remotely. Well, you can do fashion design remotely because I mean they can send you the numbers and you can make the clothes to suit, but you get the point. So what do I mean by understanding the growth stage? Understand if the business you are entering or the sector you are entering, are they just emerging? That is, are they a startup? They're just coming in. They have a lot of runway, cash, investors have invested. Are they a growing organization? They don't rely on investors anymore because they have cash flow. A long the business is profitable, the product is viable, it's what is vogue, everybody's using it, so they are just soaring. Are they mature? The mature ones will be the guys that have been in the industry for 15, 20, 30 years. They are there. They are holding their space. There's no competition that can, come and compete with them because they are holding their own market share. Or are they declining? Are they an organization that has refused to evolve as tech is evolving because they do not see the value? Understand this growth stage of the organization you are applying to and the industry you are applying to. Pay premium is the second point. Under industry map, positioning map, above market, at market and below market. What is the pay like? Are they paying above the market pay? Are they paying at the market pay? Or are they paying below the market pay? For example, they are paying a HR officer. Markets above the market, big industries like oil and gas, telcos, maybe they are paying their HR officers 500K. That's above market for a fresh out of university um, HR officer, right? That's 500K. That's above. So at market, let's say the going rate for HR officer is, let's say, 250K. Is that the range they are paying? Or is it an SME company that is just starting off, don't have so much, and the going rate that they are paying is like 100K? It's important that you know these things so that if you're going for the interview, gauge the organization with this industry positioning map. Write it out. Number one was growth stage, we just spoke about. Now is pay premium, we're speaking about. So that you are not going to a below market organization and you are requesting premium pay. They cannot pay it to you. It's not because that they are wicked or stuff. Where they are, they cannot afford it. Now, check your skills, the skills you have. What is the barrier to entry? Is the barrier of entry high? Is it medium? Or is it a low skill? For example, you want to be an admin officer. Barrier of entry is low. Anybody can be an admin officer. Anybody, at least. If they just do a bit of training, they are good. But high training like software engineers, chemical engineers, medical doctors, nurses, uh, you know, accountants, those are high HR professionals, high skill roles. Some are medium as well. But those roles, you know that the barrier of entry, you have to come correct. If not, you won't make the cuts. And then remote friendly. Can this job be done remotely? Now, next I'm going to teach us is company intelligence gathering. And I'm saying this because, sorry, let me adjust my. I'm saying this because for the company the company intelligence gathering, this is usually, I would advise you to do more of this when you have gotten the interview, the invite for the interview. You've applied, they've sent you the email, giving you a date for your interview. This is where you apply the company intelligence gathering system. There are 5 layers to this company research method. The first layer is public information. So when you've been given that invite, right, the first thing you do is go on the company website, check the recent news. How do you check? Go on Google, type the company's name, put recent news, or you put news. That's if you don't want to toggle on the icon that says news when you search. After you click search on Google, there's the part where it says news, photos, and all the things. So click news, read what's there, read the company website, try to understand what it is they do. Know it, please. It's very important. You cannot be going for an interview not knowing the company you have applied to. It doesn't say that you know what you're doing and you're serious. It doesn't give that. Understand the financial reports. Some people publish, some don't, and it's fine. If you don't find it, it's okay. But if you do find it, read it. Try to understand what it is they're saying. Okay? Next, read the press releases just to see what they've been doing, where they are, so that you get comfortable with the organization. You begin to understand where you are walking into, because that's going to be your life. If you do get through the interview and you do well, that was going to be your life, right? Next will be the leadership team. Do background studies. Check their WhatsApp, their Instagram, their X, their LinkedIn. Read about the leaders within the organization. See what they've done, any projects they've handled personally, just to get a hang on what's going on there, right? Next is the second layer will be social intelligence. And in this case, what does social intelligence mean? Is researching the organization in their social spaces, their LinkedIn, the company updates, the employees' posts, check. Twitter, that's also X, check conversations and mentions, use the company name as a hashtag, or just search with the company name and see what people have said about the organization. Read up industry publications, trade press, just check. And then you can now do the next level, which is layer 3, network intelligence session, research. Here you contact your current employees, former employees. You are here, you're gauging, you're trying to understand these people, what did they say they've done, how credible are they, and all the 9 yards. Okay, thank you for your patience. I just needed to check something. All right. Market positioning will now be layer 4. Okay, sorry, I missed something. Check industry contacts as well, people you know within the industry, where or that the industry you are you're going to do the interview. People you know in the industry, just speak to them, tell you a bit what they know about the industry, so that you are going there more ready. Then understand their market position, their competitors, the market share they own, so that you know how you know if they own a good market share, you know that your job is going to be a bit stable. If they don't, you already know, okay, here I'm not going to stay too long, 2 years, we let 18 months, and I keep it moving. Their customer reviews, what are their products like? Are they an ethical organization, or is the news around about them that they are always selling fake products? and people know them across the nation that they are selling. These are things you need to understand, because you can't say you're a person of integrity and you can't work for that kind of organization and then you're trying to call them out and they didn't listen. But you didn't do the research, you didn't check. You went there, you started working there, and now you don't want to stay there anymore. You're the one that dropped the ball. Check if they've been given industry awards and recognitions. Do more research there. And then finally, layer five, growth signals. The job posting frequency, especially that role that you're applying for. How frequently have people gone through that role? Is it a role that is always available every 6 months? Someone said every AK market day I see this job ad, because they hire people, they get there, and people can stay on the role. That's an important thing you need to check as well. Office expansion and new locations. How fast are they expanding? Do they have technology partnerships? Some organizations are partners with Google, Microsoft, the big ones. So you know that where you are going, technology advancement is okay. They will accept change. They are willing to. So you know that this is a forward-thinking organization, so that you are going there ready, right? Those are the things. There are platforms where you can check those things. Regulatory approvals, do they have them? Are they a medical firm practicing, but yeah, they don't have a medical license from the government to practice? Know that when you apply there and they give you the job, the day that the government comes, they shut down that place, you're out of work. Do you see how everything ties? Great. So now we're going to look at what we call the currency specific strategies. This is going to be um, quite brief. So, this currency specific market strategies, right, is going to help us ascertain the characteristics of our currency and our economy. It's quite dense, but I'll try my best to make it simple for us, because some of us don't really, especially when you're going to do international, remote work and all of those things. It's important to know these things, right? Will there be spikes in exchange rates? Because you can be doing a job, they say they pay you. Let me give an example. You are living in Nigeria, you are doing let's say you're a virtual assistant, and your job is $800. They pay you that money, you're excited. Oh, dollar is 1,000. Let's just give a random, again, they're not real examples, they're fictitious. So the exchange rate as at when you say apply for the job was 1,700. So you were doing 1,700 times 800. You're like, I've made it in life. I am a big gain. But because you are not monitoring and doing your currency specific research, right? You are just saying, oh, Nigerian market intelligence, I know high growth sectors, I'm going to apply here, this, that, that. You are just applying, you're doing all the things, but you don't know how volatile the exchange rate is. So now you apply for that job, it was 1.8 to a dollar, and then you get the job, Naira drops to 1,200, and you are sad. Your morale is zero. You're no longer happy at the job, because the money you planned your life around is no more that money. This is why those things are important. You need to understand, have it at the finger your fingertips. So for the Nigerian market intelligence, it is really, really important to understand the high growth sectors. And we already know what some of these sectors are. The fintech sector, the fintech sector is one of the high growth areas. Digital banking, so you know the banks. Again, I don't want to name drop. You all know the fintechs that are doing well, the e-commerce and logistics businesses that are doing well, the edtech companies, online learning companies, teltech, telemedicine, agri-tech, and food processing. These are the high growth businesses within Nigeria, right? Therefore, international um, business, that's the remote friendly businesses. We have the software as a service business, that's called SaaS. Those are the areas that a lot of people are employing. That's the cloud computing software where applications are delivered to users, and then people, depending on single user, multiple users, or enterprise solutions, people are basically paying subscriptions. So they have, well, not all. Majority have constant inflow, but it's important that you check. So it's not just saying, I want to apply for a remote role, and then you just go and apply, and they promise you a salary, and you're just excited. You're not monitoring anything because if it tanks, if the product develops any kind of issue, and users start to drop, the enterprise that use the solution, they are having issues, bottlenecks, and it's not being resolved, they will churn. And when they churn, it will affect salaries, whether we like it or not. So it is important to understand high growth sectors, and don't just understand and like it, understand and be aware, understand and monitor closely, so that if there are changes, you can easily port, re-strategize, or know what to do. You don't want to be caught in the middle of an organization that's having financial troubles. I promise you, you don't want that. Digital marketing and growth companies are also high growth remote organizations that you can check out. Cybersecurity and compliance companies, data analysis companies, customer success and support companies, etc. There are also cross market opportunities where that is actually finding the sweet spot. The sweet spot is the sweet spot is finding companies that are expanding into Africa. That's a cross market opportunity. Find companies that need local market expertise. That's another way you can provide value and be valuable. Find companies that have value cultural intelligence. Find companies that operate in sectors that are both growing, that are growing in the market. Now, the professionals that will win today aren't the ones choosing between local and international opportunities. Oh, that's the popular saying, that the professionals that are winning now, they are swapping from Nigerian roles to remote work. That's not the people that are winning. They are the ones that find the intersection between global companies that need local expertise. Those are the professionals that win. Finally, it is important that you know your current industry. You need to map out you need to sit down and market map your career path. Know your industry, the current industry you are in, the industry you want to go into. It's important that you know that industry. Check for the trends that you have noticed. Very important. Understand the company, how they are positioned. This is very, very important. I hope that today we have learned to read market signals, learned how to identify opportunities before they become obvious to everybody else, because that's the sweet spot. And by tomorrow, we'll be diving into application mastery, how to craft applications that cut through the noise and land you the interviews, where you will now apply this market intelligence that we just taught. Thank you for listening. Um, I'm going to also share again. This is learning with homework. So you're not ready for homework, I don't know what to say to you. But there's homework, and I'm going to be dropping the homework in the chat box. Interviews where you will not. Okay, so dropping the homework now. Your homework is to choose 5 companies in your target industries and complete the 5-layer research method with them. That is your assignment. For those of us at the Isaac Works community, that is your assignment. Send it. You know what to do to the admins, and we would continue our discussions. I hope that this has helped you. I hope that this was valuable, and I look forward to seeing us tomorrow. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.